Hey, what's up? My name is Daniela and welcome to a new video. So in this video I want to chat to you about my reading goals for 2023. So I came up with these goals late December, and because I took my sweet time with filming this video, it's almost the end of March, which puts me into a special position because now I can look at the goals that I came up with a few months ago, and you know, I still have the opportunity to tweak them to see how the year is going so far. And you know, I just can't see if I still feel those goals. Spoiler alert, with some of these I didn't, but anyway, I'm going to talk to you about what I was thinking and what I'm thinking now. So goal number one is the Goodreads challenge, aka how many books I want to read. And I think at first I wanted to read more books, I think around 50, which used to be my standard number for the goal. But especially now, given how the year is going, I see that I don't want to challenge myself number-wise this year, so I put a Goodreads goal at 30. Currently, I have read 10 books so far this year, so I am 4 books ahead of schedule, which is good. But yeah, this year it's not about the number of books read. Goal number 2 is a classic one that I did most of the years. I didn't do it last year, which is interesting. But it is to read or unhaul all of the books I got before the beginning of 2023. So yeah, as I said, I've done this multiple times. Most of the times I hit this goal. Yeah, I like to keep my TBR fresh and just read the books, you know, ideally within the year that I get them. So yeah, this is one of my favorite goals, feeling very good about it, so it's staying. Then goal number 3, I have mixed feelings about. It is to read 10 non-fiction books. So as of now, I wouldn't feel so compelled to challenge myself in this way, but given how the year is going, I've already read a few, and I think it can stay, even though I'm not like feeling it 100%. But I do want to read more non-fiction than I did last year. Goal number 4 can definitely stay, and it is to finish or catch up on our DNF 5 series. So last year my goal was to finish or DNF etc. 6 series. I completed 5, so almost did it. So this year the number is 5, and yeah, I really want to continue with some series that I started years ago or I started recently, because yeah, I feel like I need the external motivation yeah, to get me to continue with series. Then number 5 is a goal I just thought of like half an hour ago, and yeah, it's something that, you know, I feel like was missing from the goals, and that is a goal that I've never done or like I've never set to do, and that is to get through one textbooky book. So this is specifically to read or get through one book that, you know, I wouldn't classify as non-fiction because like it resembles a textbook more. I'll show you some examples. So yeah, sometimes I get these textbooky books. I mean, they are technically non-fiction, but you know, it's not like a collection of essays or just, you know, a bunch of cohesive text. It's more like a textbook, you know what I mean. And yeah, so sometimes I get these books and then I just never open them. So I have a bunch of them here, so I thought that if I put it into the goals, my chances of actually getting through at least one of them is are somewhat improved. So yeah, we have SQL for Dummies by Ellen G. Taylor. So recently I started a new job and I use SQL on the daily, and you know, this is a Bible with a lot of information that I might find useful. And I also really like the format. Like, I really like this edition for Dummies books, and you know, it's new and pretty. So, and I started, you can see that I tapped something. So I got to page, oh yeah, I have a bookmark here, 55. It has almost 700 pages, and with these books, like, you don't necessarily have to read like every single word, but yeah, I would like to get through most of it. On a similar note, I have Beginning Programming with Python by John Paul Miller. So this one is not as pretty, it's secondhand. The pages are like, you know, the recycled kind, but still, I got this. I read maybe one chapter, and I mean, yeah, there's the question of like how effective it is to read a book about programming instead of practicing or just like using a website. A lot of the information is changing quickly, but still, I got it, so I would like to do more with it than just stare at the bookcase. So yeah, that's another option. The last one from this edition is Economics for Dummies, again, secondhand, by Sean Masaki Flynn, PhD. So yeah, I used to work in finance. I'm interested in finance and economics, and I don't think I've opened this one, so yeah, I could check this out. Then on a different topic, I have Driving School 2020. It's a few years old, and you know, when the pandemic started, I moved from Prague for a year, and I really wanted to pick up driving again because it's much more useful outside of Prague. And it didn't really happen, but I got this book, and I realized that, oh, I mean, I got my driving license in 2010. So it's been 13 years and I haven't driven much since, and yeah, I just forgotten a lot of the rules. So I thought that I could refresh my memory and then maybe, you know, take some refreshing lessons. But then I moved back to Prague and I don't need a car here, so I'm on the fence about this one, but we'll see. And then the last option for this, I have Effective Writing in English by Mike Henney and J. Lachlan Mackenzie. So I got this very randomly a few years ago during some swap, and like there's a post-it of mine, which is weird because I don't remember opening this book. So yeah, I don't think that it's like super relevant to my life right now, but maybe I could read parts of this. Then I have one more candidate that's most likely to succeed actually, but that's a book I got recently, so I'm going to haul it in one of the upcoming videos. But anyway, that's the goal of getting through a textbooky book. Then goal number 6, I also thought about today or a few days ago, and again, it's a pretty challenging one, but the rules are going to be pretty lax, so it should be fine. And it's to read a book in Spanish. So I've been learning Spanish, I've been really enjoying it, and you know, I was just in Spain or on Canary Islands in February and I loved it, and I want to go back to Spain and generally spend more time in Spain. And yeah, my learning has been mostly Duolingo these days, and I really want to kick it up a notch this year. And one of the ways I can do that is to read a book in Spanish. And now I'm still like in the beginner side, so it's not going to be like a literary fiction novel or anything like that. What I'm thinking is like a children's book, like for 5-year-olds or something, or like a really short story. I mean, short story of any length. And you know, even if I have to look up every second word, it counts. So yeah, that's the goal. I think I can do it. It's just a matter of like getting that book and setting my mind to it and just dedicating the time to look up the words and etc. So yeah, feeling pretty good about this goal. We'll see how I feel at the end of the year. And then the last goal is one of my favorites, and it's very much like vibe goal. Like most of my goals I try to set to be a specific, measurable and all that stuff, but this one, yeah, it's just vibes. And it says, go after the books I want. And I wrote down 2 like interpretations of this, or like manifestation so the first point is to let myself buy a book that I've been wanting to read for a few months, or you know, that I'm really interested in the moment, because when it comes to buying books, I often delay it, like especially if I have to order it online. I just keep waiting, and then I don't read the books that I'm most interested in. You know, these are usually books that aren't in my local library, so the way to read them physically, which is what I prefer, is to buy them. And yeah, often I just don't do it. So this goal is to just let myself spend more money on books, but especially on the books I want to read the most, because, you know, often I will delay like ordering books that are at the top of my TBR, but then I go to a bookstore or I end up ordering books, and sometimes these don't end up being the books I want to read the most. So yeah. And second point of this is to go through my saved posts on Instagram with diverse recs and read something from them. So on Instagram I often save these like posts that contain a lot of recs on a specific rep. Recently I saved some Christmas recs with queer relationships, stuff like that, disability rep, anything. So yeah, these books are often ones that I don't hear a lot about necessarily, and they sound really interesting, but yeah, I saved the post and I forget. So yeah, I want to go through the posts and pick something from them. And that's it. Those are all my goals. Reading goals for 2023. Yeah, at the moment I'm feeling good about them. I feel good that they are not very number specific, at least some of them, and that, you know, they feel pretty chill with a challenge here and there. Let me know your thoughts on my goals, or let me know what your goals for this year are. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Talk to me in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye!